I'm Lisa, and welcome to BioTrek Selling. We left West Palm on April 17th. We hoisted the mainsail with one reef and unfurled the Genoa. We left in the morning when the winds had turned east. Our plan was to use the Gulf Stream to push us as far north as possible, but the weather patterns across the U.S. and along the East Coast were more winter-like than spring-like, and it was not clear we could make it all the way to Boston, so we had planned to duck into Beaufort, North Carolina, if necessary. Sure doesn't look rough on the camera, but it feels pretty rough. When we got in the Gulf Stream, the waves were not 10 feet predicted, but were more like 15 to 20, so we reduced sail after we were hit by a rogue wave. So we furled the Genoa, put out the staysail, and took another reef. Alright, we're in the Gulf Stream. We just went over a monster wave. Tara's gone out to check out what's gone on, if anything broke. We've got one reef in the main and a staysail, and the waves are 15 foot. The waves are still big, but a little better. And you can see all the cruise ships that are anchored there, not allowed in port with COVID-19 going on. You can see where we are, and the waypoint is where we're supposed to be Saturday at 8 a.m. It's still rough, but getting better. We have all the computers in the oven because of storms last night. Yeah. When we first got BioTrek, we said to each other, we're just going to sail in good weather. We're going to be retired, we've got the time, we'll just always wait for the weather window. Well, when you're going to do long passages, that's not always possible. And so the long passage from West Palm Beach to Boston We really wanted to do it in one shot and ride the Gulf Stream, but it really didn't look like it was going to be feasible. But we're going to give it a try and then duck in if needed. So things started off a bit rough because we knew we were going to do a long passage and we'd have to have some rough weather. So there had been northeasters blowing, and as soon as they stopped, we left West Palm Beach, but the seas were still pretty rough. So we had a rough day, and into the night, things, the waves calmed down, came to the southeast, longer swells. So although very big seas, better seas, they were following seas. But the wind was supposed to only go up to 30 the next morning, and it was blowing 40. So our first night, were pretty rough, and it was looking like the second day was going to be pretty rough too. Well, we're just passing South Carolina, and the wind's really howling. We are on a broad reach. True wind speed 31 and gusting up to 40. The waves are enormous. We just put a second reef in the main. And we're waiting for our weather router to send us an email with the daily update so we find out if we tuck in or not. And we've marked some different spots along the map where we could tuck in. Here, here, here. Not fun for me. Pierre's out hand steering. Are you having fun? We were surfing down waves at 28 knots. That'd be maintained over 5 seconds. And with an average speed of 11.9 knots over 24 hours, that gives 286 nautical miles per day. It's rough out there. The waves are behind us, but they are giant, probably 20 foot. Camera just doesn't show it. We've been on a collision course with this boat. In 10 minutes we're going to pass. He's changed course and we've changed course. So all is good right now, and Pierre has a visual. He's outside. But we don't like to get this close, but we really don't have a lot of maneuverability right now in these huge waves. It says closest point of approach is 545 yards. They're like mountains. Oh yeah, I see the ship now. And we're going pretty fast with 2 reefs in the main right now. Average speed 20. That's way too fast for me. 24. Dog's sleeping. And you can see he's just crossed in front of us. what we have here is our B&G display, and what you can see is our radar, which is really helpful when it's super dark and you can't see anything outside, so you can evaluate where the other ships are as well and compare it to your screen. We're here. Red sky and morn, sailors warn. We're on our way into Beaufort because we couldn't get far enough north to get past Cape Hatteras before bad weather's going to hit. Well, from too much wind now, there's no wind. 11, 10 knots. We've got one motor on. We're sail assist going on, and we're doing 7, 8 knots over ground. But in the night, heading directly into the wind, when the wind switched ahead of schedule, we made the decision to turn in rather than go around Cape Hatteras. Now, when things are complicated, we use a weather router, and we also download our own weather and run scenarios. We started running weather scenarios and saying, you know what, we can make it north of Cape Hatteras at least, because all the bad weather is centered around there. And our weather router had said that that's the area to watch out for. If we could get north of that, we'd be doing great. Well, you know, it's kind of like a GPS in a car. When it says that you're going to be late, you can't beat the GPS. Well, you know, the same is true in a boat. You just can't beat those weather software, computer softwares. And so when you start to run late, you got to make a decision. And last night, we were running late. The winds dropped earlier, they switched earlier, and we said, we're not going to make it around Cape Hatteras and all the way where we can duck in before the bad weather hits. And with a 90-foot mast, we can't go in the intercoastal, so we have to find a place where we can duck in, where there are no wires or bridges. So here we are, motoring towards Beaufort, where we're going to hunker down, anchor, and wait for the next weather window. As an example of route planning, I just launched a route from our current position up to Delaware, and I'm going to put it on active, so you're going to follow the ISO lines, and you're going to see what we'd be facing if we had kept going. So we're in an area of little wind. But if we'd gone this way, it's okay, we're ahead of the storm, we're ahead of the storm. We just can't get ahead of the storm to get in there. And when we plotted other routes last night, coming from further out to sea, we just couldn't get ahead of that storm. The storm being red, and the bars indicate the direction. So the storm coming up here would be northeast. So let's click on a spot up here and see what the weather's going to look like in the next couple days. So here we are, motoring towards Beaufort, North Carolina to duck into port. This is what America in lockdown looks like. If you like this video, please subscribe and push that notification bell so that you know when we post a new video.